The day they promised to save my mother was the same day I unknowingly sold my freedom. I didn't realize it then. I was too focused on the sound of her breathing, short, painful, and uneven, like every breath might be her last. I asked for help. That was my mistake. My name is Amara. I come from a small neighborhood where hope is expensive and help always comes with conditions no one explains until it's too late. That morning, the hospital hallway smelled of disinfectant and fear. People whispered prayers into their palms. Others stared at the floor like they were already preparing for loss. My mother lay on a narrow bed behind a thin curtain. Her eyes were half open, but she wasn't really seeing me. "Amara," she whispered, "don't beg anyone." I held her hand and lied. "I won't." The truth was I already had. The doctor didn't look at me when he spoke. "Your mother needs surgery." Immediately, my heart jumped. "Then do it." He finally looked up. His eyes were tired, experienced, empty. "You need money. A lot of it." "How much?" I asked, already knowing the answer would destroy me. He said the number. My knees weakened. I earned in 1 year what he demanded in 1 sentence. "I'll find it," I said, my voice shaking. "Please, just keep her alive until then." He sighed. "We can only do so much." That was when I stepped outside the hospital. And that was when they found me. I wiped my tears quickly. "I'm fine." She smiled. "No, you're not." I wanted to walk away. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. But she said the words that froze me in place. "We can pay for your mother's treatment." I stared at her. "You? What?" The taller man opened a briefcase, just enough for me to see stacks of money. Real money. More than I had ever touched in my life. "We help people in difficult situations," he said calmly. "No loans. No interest." My hands trembled. "Why?" The woman's smile never faded. "Because someone once helped us." My mother coughed violently behind the hospital walls. Time was running out. "What do you want in return?" I asked. The woman tilted her head slightly, as if amused by the question. "Nothing you can't give." That sentence should have scared me. Instead, it gave me hope. They asked me to sit with them. We talked. They knew my name. They knew where I lived. They even knew my mother's medical history. That should have frightened me too. Instead, I told myself it meant they were serious. The woman slid a document across the table. "Just a formality," she said, "so the hospital can release the funds." I scanned the paper quickly. My hands were shaking too much to read properly. "Do I need a lawyer?" I asked weakly. The two men laughed softly. The woman leaned closer. "If you trust us, your mother lives. If you don't, we walk away." I thought of my mother's hand growing colder in mine. I signed. The money arrived that same day. The doctors rushed my mother into surgery. For the first time in weeks, I breathed. The woman hugged me before leaving. "You did the right thing," she whispered. "We'll call you soon." "Why?" I asked. She paused at the door. "Because help is never free, Amara." Then she was gone. That night, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Be ready tomorrow. We will come for what you owe." My chest tightened. I stared at my sleeping mother, machines humming beside her. I had saved her life, but I didn't know what it would cost me yet. I didn't sleep that night. Every time my eyes closed, I saw the woman smile. Calm, certain, like she already owned something that belonged to me. At dawn, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered with shaking fingers. "Amara," the woman said, her voice smooth and familiar. "I hope your mother is stable." "She is," I replied quickly. "Thank you, truly." A pause. "Good," she said. "Then you're ready." "Ready for what?" I asked. "For your first task." They arrived an hour later. A black car parked outside my house, too clean, too quiet for our dusty street. Neighbors peeked through curtains. Children stopped playing. I stepped outside, my heart pounding. The woman sat in the back seat. One of the men opened the door for me. "Get in," he said politely. I hesitated. "I need to stay close to the hospital." She smiled. "This won't take long." That was another lie I believed. We drove across the city, away from the hospital, away from everything familiar. Finally, we stopped in front of a tall office building, glass walls, security guards, quiet power. "This is it," she said. I frowned. "What is this place?" "A company," she replied. "One that needs your help." "My help?" I laughed nervously. "I'm just a woman who owes us," she finished gently. Inside, the building was bright and cold. People typed at computers. Phones rang. Everyone looked busy. Normal. That made it worse. The woman led me into a small room with a desk and a camera. "Sit," she said. Saturday, she placed a small envelope in front of me. Deliver this to the man whose name is written on it, she said. That's all. I stared at the envelope. What's inside? Something valuable. My throat tightened. Is it illegal? She tilted her head. Does it matter? Yes, I whispered. It matters. Her smile faded for the first time. Amara, she said softly, your mother is alive because of us. The words cut deep. I'll do it, I said. The man was waiting across the street. He was older, nervous, sweating despite the cool air. When I handed him the envelope, his eyes widened. Did they send you? He asked. I nodded. He swallowed hard and took it without another word. That was it. No police. No alarms. I returned to the car, my hands trembling. Well done, the woman said. You're learning fast. That was just delivery, I said. Right? She looked out the window. For today. That evening, I visited my mother. She looked better, color returning to her face. God has been kind, she said weakly. I forced a smile. Yes, I replied. I didn't tell her the truth. The next day, another message came. Be ready. Different task. This time, they didn't ask. They picked me up without warning. We drove farther. Past the city. Past places I recognized. We stopped near a quiet house. Go inside, the man said. Ask for Mrs. Kalu. What do I do? I asked. The woman met my eyes. Listen. Inside, an elderly woman sat alone. Her eyes were red from crying. She looked up when she saw me. They sent you, she whispered. I nodded again. She handed me a small stack of papers. Tell them I agreed, she said. I don't have a choice. I wanted to ask questions. But I remembered my mother's heartbeat monitor. I left. Back in the car, I exploded. You said help. I cried. You didn't say I'd be doing this. The woman's voice hardened. And we didn't say you'd be asking questions. Silence filled the car. Can I stop? I asked quietly. The man laughed. The woman leaned close to me. You can stop, she said. The same day we stopped paying for your mother's treatment. My chest burned. You're trapping people, I said. She shrugged. So did life. We just manage it better. That night, I cried alone. I wasn't saving my mother anymore. I was becoming something else. Something I didn't recognize. And deep inside, I knew. This was only the beginning. By the third week, I stopped asking myself when it would end. I only asked how much of myself would be left when it did. They no longer called before coming. The black car appeared whenever it wanted outside the hospital, near my home, once even at the market while I was buying fruit. People began to notice. Neighbors whispered. Friends stopped visiting. I was becoming invisible in my own life. The woman's tone changed too. No more smiles. No more soft words. You'll be meeting someone important today, she said as I sat beside her in the car. You will speak only when spoken to. My palms were damp. What kind of meeting? The kind that decides futures. Mine, she didn't need to say. We arrived at a large private residence. White walls, tall gates, guards at every corner. Power lived here. You could feel it in the silence. Inside, a group of men sat around a long table. I recognized none of them. But they all recognized me. This is her, one asked. Yes, the woman replied. She's proven reliable. Reliable. Like a tool. They spoke about land. About signatures. About people who refused to cooperate. I stood there, silent, listening. Then one man turned to me. You'll deliver these documents, he said. And you'll persuade the owner to sign. I don't persuade people, I said quickly. You'll find a way, he interrupted. You always do. My heart pounded. What if he refuses? The room grew still. The woman answered calmly. Then your mother's treatment stops. That night, I screamed into my pillow. I wanted to run. But where would I go? They knew my address. My routine. My weakness. The man I was sent to meet lived alone on the edge of town. He was kind. That made it worse. I built this place with my own hands, he told me, showing old photos. They want it gone. I handed him the papers with shaking hands. I'm sorry, I whispered. He looked at me carefully. You don't look like a bad person. I laughed bitterly. Neither did I once. He refused to sign. When I returned, The woman didn't yell. She simply nodded. Your mother's medication will be reduced, she said. Let's see if pain changes his mind. I fell to my knees. Please, I begged. I'll go back. I'll make him sign. She looked down at me. You already are. The second visit broke me. I lied. I threatened. I became someone else. He signed. I didn't look back. At the hospital, my mother slept peacefully. I watched her chest rise and fall. How long? I asked the nurse quietly. She hesitated. Her condition is being managed. Managed. By them. That was when I noticed something strange. Another woman in the hallway. Young. Tired. Afraid. She looked at me the way I must have looked weeks ago. And then I saw it. A familiar black car outside. My stomach dropped. They weren't done. They were recruiting. Later that night, I confronted the woman. You're doing this to others, I said. The same way you did to me. She nodded without shame. This city runs on desperation, she said. We simply organize it. Let me go, I whispered. Please. She studied me. You think freedom is something people give back? She asked. No, Amara. Freedom is something you take. Then she added softly. But taking it has consequences. I returned home and locked the door. For the first time, a dangerous thought formed in my mind. What if I stopped obeying? What if I exposed them? What if saving my mother meant destroying myself anyway? My phone buzzed. Tomorrow. Final task. I stared at the message. Final. I didn't know if that meant freedom. Or disappearance. I knew something was wrong the moment they didn't come for me. No black car. No message. No instructions. Silence can be louder than threats. I sat beside my mother's bed, listening to the steady beep of the monitor. For the first time since the surgery, her breathing sounded strong. Peaceful. And that terrified me. Because peace never lasted with them. That afternoon, a nurse pulled me aside. There was a call, she said quietly. Someone asked about your mother's records. My heart dropped. Who? She hesitated. They didn't say. I thanked her and returned to the room, forcing a smile for my mother. But inside, something hardened. They were watching. The message came at night. Come alone. No location. No explanation. Then another message followed. If you don't, your mother will. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. This was no longer about tasks. This was about control. They sent the location minutes later, an unfinished building on the edge of the city. Concrete pillars. No lights. No guards. A place where things could disappear. I went anyway, but not unprepared. Inside, the woman waited. Alone. That alone should have warned me. You're late, she said calmly. I came, I replied. That's what matters. She studied my face. You've changed. Yes, I said. So have you. She smiled faintly. Sit. I didn't. I want out, I said. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. You have what you want. I did everything. She walked closer. You think this ends because you're tired? She asked softly. People don't leave us, Amara. I'm not people, I said. I'm a mistake you made. Her eyes narrowed. I pulled out my phone. I recorded everything. I lied. It wasn't fully true, but it was close enough to scare her. Names. Voices. Meetings, I continued. If anything happens to my mother, it goes public. The room went silent. For the first time, she looked uncertain. You wouldn't, she said. I already did, I replied. Another lie. But this one felt powerful. She laughed suddenly. You think exposure scares us, she said. This system survives scandals. Maybe, I said. But you don't. Her smile faded completely. She stepped back. You're bluffing. Test me, I said. Long seconds passed. Then she sighed. You don't understand what you're asking, she said. Walking away comes with consequences. I've lived with them already, I replied. She looked at me like someone seeing an equal for the first time. Your mother leaves the hospital tomorrow, she said finally. After that, you disappear from our lives. Relief and fear crashed into me at once. And the others? I asked. She turned away. Don't push your luck. My mother was discharged the next morning. We packed quietly. I didn't tell her the truth. I told her we were starting over. That part was real. But as we left the hospital, I saw her. The young woman from the hallway weeks ago. She was crying now. And the black car was parked nearby. I met her eyes. She looked at me the way drowning people look at floating wood. I wanted to run to her. I didn't. I couldn't. That was the cost of my escape. That night, as my mother slept in our small home, I sat awake. Free, but marked. I didn't know if they would keep their word. I didn't know if freedom would last. But I knew one thing. I would never beg again. Because some help is just a prettier form of change. Freedom didn't arrive loudly. It came like a fragile thing, quiet, uncertain, and afraid to be touched. For weeks after we left the hospital, nothing happened. No black car. No messages. No strange faces watching from across the street. I waited for danger the way one waits for thunder after lightning. But the sky stayed clear. My mother grew stronger. She cooked again. She laughed again. She prayed loudly in the mornings, thanking God for mercy. I prayed too, but not for the same reasons. I prayed that the past would stay buried. One afternoon, while cleaning the house, I found the old phone I had used during those months. The one filled with messages, calls, reminders of who I had become. I stared at it for a long time. Then I smashed it. Not out of anger. Out of closure. Life slowly returned to something like normal. I found work at a small shop. Honest work. Quiet work. No envelopes. No signatures. No threats. Still, I noticed things. A car slowing down too long. A stranger looking twice. Trauma doesn't leave when danger does. It waits. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the streets glowed gold, a young woman approached me. She looked familiar. Too familiar. "You don't know me," she said softly. "But I know you." My chest tightened. "You escaped," she continued. "They told me you disappeared." I knew then. She was one of the others. "I didn't escape," I said carefully. "I survived." She swallowed. "How?" I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to lie. Instead, I said the truth. I stopped believing their promises. Her eyes filled with tears. "They have my brother," she whispered. The past knocked on my door again. That night, I couldn't sleep. The woman's words echoed in my head. They have my brother. I had my freedom. But freedom, I learned, is heavier when you know others are still trapped. I thought of the elegant woman. The way she said freedom must be taken. She was right. But she never said it had to be taken alone. I didn't go back to them. I didn't confront them. I did something quieter, something more dangerous. I started talking. Not loudly, not publicly. Carefully. To journalists who asked the right question. To lawyers who listened without fear. To people who already suspected the truth. I never used names. I didn't need to. Systems collapse when enough light touches them. Months later, news spread. Investigations. Raids. Arrests whispered about, never fully confirmed. The city buzzed with rumors. And one morning, I woke up and realized I wasn't afraid anymore. My mother noticed first. "You sleep better," she said. "Your eyes are lighter." I smiled. "Yes," I replied. I finally left. She squeezed my hand. "You paid a price," she said gently. "Yes," I answered. "But not my soul." Sometimes I still see faces from that time. Sometimes guilt visits me late at night. But then I remember. I was poor. I was desperate. I was human. And I learned the hardest lesson of all. Help that demands silence is not help. Money that demands obedience is not rescue. And promises made in desperation are the most expensive ones you'll ever accept. If you are listening to this story and thinking, "This could be me," then listen carefully. Ask questions. Read the fine print. Trust your fear. Because sometimes, the danger isn't the struggle you're running from. It's the hand that reaches out to save you. If you enjoy this story, then like and subscribe my channel.